speaking of an MVP, Jonathan Taylor, boy, man, he is cooking, man. He leads the NFL in carries, rushing yards, and rushing TDs. He has 143 carries this season to 850 yards, 12 touchdowns this season. He leads those statistical categories. He is just, man, he's just that good, man. And by the way, he's from New Jersey, just like New Jersey Genius. Hey, New Jersey Genius. I mean, New Jersey. Don't sleep on Jersey when it comes to football. Even though there's Florida, there's Georgia, there's Texas, but New Jersey is known for producing good players, and he is definitely one of them. You look at the Indianapolis Colts, man. What more could you say? They are 7-1 this season. Shane Steichen has to be coach of the year. If you want to give it to Kyle Shanahan, I ain't got no problem with that. But they are 7-1. The resurrection of Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor. You can not only make a case for offensive player of the year, but perhaps the league MVP. He is projected to have 1,806 yards to 26 touchdowns. As far as receiving touchdowns, he's projected to have four. He would be one touchdown shy away of tying LaDainian Tomlinson's 2006 record for the most touchdowns, total touchdowns, by a running back. And that was also the year when LaDainian Tomlinson won the league MVP, and the Chargers, I believe, they went 14-2 that season under rest his soul, the head coach, the late Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
Champ, I think the only way that Jonathan Taylor could win the league MVP, he got to go over 2,000 yards. He's got to at least break one of the two records, either Eric Dickerson's record or LaDainian Tomlinson's record. And the Indianapolis Colts going somewhere around 14-3. And if he doesn't win the MVP, to your point, because you did mention this on your TikTok video, then the NFL at some point has to have a serious discussion about what's the criteria for a non-quarterback to win the MVP.
Hmm. Right now, what's so funny about the MVP award? Even when guys go over 2,000 yards, most of them don't win the MVP.
Derrick
That's
Henry
what's the.
2019.
Yeah, Derrick Henry 2019, he
Uh,
didn't win it.
I'm sorry, 2020.
In 2020, he didn't win it. You think about when you think about Chris Johnson, he went over 2,000 yards. He didn't win. Think about Jamal Lewis when he went over 2,000 yards. He didn't win it. Throughout
Saquon
any
last year.
Saquon last year, he didn't win it. Out of 9 2,000 yard rushers, only 4 have won the MVP, and that is O.J. Simpson, Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson, and Terrell Davis. Ironically, the person who holds the records for most rushing yards in the season did not win the MVP in 1984.
Wow.
Eric Dickerson has the single season rushing record that has stood for going on. It's quite ironic that he's on this historic pace. He's been the all-time single season rushing leader since 1984. This year will be the 41st anniversary of that season. This will be the 41st anniversary of that season. And he did not win the MVP during that season when he broke that record. Ironically, I don't really blame the voters because during that year, another historic year happened. Remember the Dan Marino year, 5,000 yards, 48 touchdowns happened that year. So you have to be damn near the model of perfection if you're going to be somebody outside of a quarterback winning an MVP. But I digress. He has to break the single season rushing record and he has to break LaDainian Thomas's record. He has to break both. He has to break both in order to. He has to put up something so impressive that you just cannot turn your face away. And he has the capability of doing it because guess what, man? Look, this week coming up, rude awakening to start off. He has Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh ain't been doing good at to running or the passing as of late. Then he has my Falcons. Then he has the Chiefs. Then he has the Texans, Jaguars, Seahawks, Niners, Jaguars again, then the Texans. So he's capable of very much winning the rushing title. So, and I'm talking about and going for over 2,000 yards. I think that he has the capability of doing that considering the schedule that he has. He has to play the Jaguars twice. He has to play the Jaguars twice.
Or do
Depending
you
on how,
think he's capable of winning the MVP, champ? Because even
like I
if he
said,
go ahead.
he has to do something spectacular. He has to break the all time. He has to break the single season rushing record, and he has to break the Dane Thompson's record. If there isn't one, to your point, if he doesn't win the MVP, then there has to be a conversation had to say, hey, we need to bring the Emmett Smith Award in, or either the Walter Payton Award, in order to say, hey, man, we just need to bring in the best running back award, or just make the Offensive Player of the Year the running back award. Because if you're not able to eclipse something and it be so, because although the thing is this, people are going to sit around here, well, you always know how naysayers are. They tacked on another game. They tacked on another game. If that was the case, everybody would be running for 2,000 yards. There's only been 9 throughout NFL history. 9. There was only one who rushed for 2014 game season.
Not only that, champ, also JSN, Jackson Smith Najimba, he may have a chance to not only surpass Calvin Johnson's record for the most receiving yards by an NFL wide receiver, he may go 2K.
Yeah,
and the Seattle Seahawks have a winning record. Yeah. So you could, if he doesn't win it, could you make a case Jerry Rice Award?
Yeah, you can make a case for the Jerry Rice Award. Look, there needs to be, people can call it participation trophies or whatever, but there has to be something for these standouts. You can't just keep giving it to these damn quarterbacks just because, well, they're the quarterback. I don't give a crap. If a guy has a spectacular season and you can see that he's the focal point of the offense, he's the focal point of what they're doing, and he's attributed to team success as well, that's who deserves the MVP.
And although you wouldn't have a problem with giving it to Baker.
No, I would not. Because he's carrying his team. If it passes the eye test and it passes the stat test, I have no problem with it. What happens is they get too caught up in trying to give it to just a quarterback. The year before, when Lamar won it, they should have gave it to Christian McCaffrey. They should have gave it to Christian McCaffrey's award.
The year in 2023.
I'd have gave it to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, either him or Tyreek Hill. But instead, they wanted to give it to a quarterback. They gave it to Lamar Jackson, which I have no problem with. But if you want to go by stats, team success, those two were the guys who were supposed to win. But instead, they're always going to find a way to give it to the quarterback. That goes back to what I said earlier. If Lamar Jackson can find a way to let's say throw for over 40 touchdowns around this time, which is not impossible at this point. If he finds a way to score for like 40 touchdowns, they might find a way to get him the MVP. And like I stated, if that happens, there needs to be some talk behind it. Because, like I stated, Jonathan Taylor has the capability of winning the MVP, but he's gonna have to break the single season rushing record, and he's gonna have to do something that we have never seen before. Never. And we may never see again.
It's gonna be hard to do. Yeah. But he's capable of doing it. BRF.
Jonathan Taylor is playing. I'm happy to see him playing the way he's playing because he's been fighting a lot of injuries the past like couple of years or so. So to kind of see him back fully at 100% doing his thing, I'm happy for him because he is that good of a running back. He does everything well. Like as much as being a Falcons fan, as much as we brag about Bijan and how good he is, Jonathan Taylor right now has been playing better, more consistent ball when you look at the last two games Bijan's play and you look at Jonathan Taylor and the level of consistency that he's been able to maintain all year for the Indianapolis Colts, he's definitely offensive player of the year in my opinion right now. And he definitely deserves to be one of the skill position players involved in MVP talks. I mean, like 850 yards, 12 touchdowns already. And I think it's just, and I also think it's just a matter of where the Colts end up record wise, because he's the focal point, because he is the focal point of that offense. And the Indianapolis Colts are what 7-1, 6-2.
Yes.
So it's like the Colts are 7-1. So they are playing amazing football as a team, but he's at the focal point. He's at the front of that. So I know we're saying like to win the MVP, he needs to like break the single season yardage record. He needs to break LT's his touchdown record. I look at it like this. If the Indianapolis Colts go say 13-4, 14-3, and there's not like a definitive quarterback that really takes control of the MVP award, Jonathan Taylor goes for like anywhere between 16 to 1,800 yards, and he goes well over 20 touchdowns. It would be hard pressed not to give him the MVP award if a quarterback doesn't run away with this award, because it's the value he's brought to the Indianapolis Colts team in terms of his, not only his numbers, but his team's record and him being the focal point of the offense. So I think we have to take into consideration the potential of the Indianapolis Colts and where they end up at the end of the 2025 season, and how his play correlates with how good they end up doing. So Jonathan Taylor, I strongly believe, has a very good chance to win the NFL Most Valuable Player Award. The main thing is which quarterback is going to really separate themselves to keep a skill position player to be in serious talks to win it, because you have Baker, you have Sam Darnold, you have Matthew Stafford, you have his teammate in Daniel Jones, you have Jalen Hurts.
Jordan Love.
In my opinion, you have and you got to throw Jordan Love in there now the way he's playing. So for me, those are the top 6 guys in terms of quarterback play who you need to be talking about for the league's Most Valuable Player Award. But I feel like also with Jonathan Taylor, it's his ability to do everything. See, it's not just his ability to run the ball out the backfield. We forget Jonathan Taylor is very good as a receiver as well. Very good as a receiver as well. So eventually, once everything starts adding up, we're going to have to look at his all-purpose yardage as well. Because if he's hitting 2K in all-purpose yardage, and let's say he ends up between 23, 26, 27 touchdowns all-purpose, and we don't have that definitive quarterback saying, oh, he's got it, Jonathan Taylor could really sneak in there and really sneak an MVP award away, depending on what everybody else does. Because I feel like at this trajectory, he's winning the NFL Offensive Player of the Year. But now you have to look at the Indianapolis Colts and their team performance and how he contributes to them winning games. He puts up those type of numbers and they go 13-4, 14-3. I wouldn't have a problem giving him the MVP award, because it's what his play is correlating with his team's record.
I'm just afraid he may not get it unless he does one of those two things or both, to my point and Champ's point. And I just hate at some point in time, Champ, to your point, we really got to do a best running back award. They're going to have to try to incorporate things like the NBA is doing as far as like with the awards and stuff. So that's how I think it'll make it more fair, more legitimate for the other non-quarterback positions. But yeah, Jonathan Taylor, you can definitely make a case for the MVP. Right now, for the MVP champ, I probably go Baker 1. If you have to give it to a QB, I'll go Baker because of what he's been able to do this season, despite all the injuries Tampa has had. They're 6-2. You can, and if you don't want to go Baker early on, you wanted to go with Dak Prescott, but unfortunately, I don't think Dak, because of the game against the Denver Broncos and because of that bad game early on against the Chicago Bears. Okay, how much stock does he have for the MVP? Okay, do you want to go with Jordan Love? You want to go with Jalen Hurts? Even though Jalen Hurts, they're going to look at how things went against Denver and how things went for you Thursday night against the New York Giants. So they're going to hold that against them. You could also say the same thing with Baker because of that game against the Detroit Lions Monday Night Football, in which the Detroit Lions, shout out to Calvin Shepard, did a great job. The Lions secondary that was decimated and they held Tampa to just 9 points. So anytime when you do something like that, more times than not, you're going to win.